Good evening. Tonight we have details of a mass shooting at a nightclub in Orlando, Florida. It happened about 4 hours ago, 2 a.m. local time, in a gay-friendly club called Pulse. Up to 25 people are believed dead, many more injured. One gunman has been confirmed dead inside the club, but there are reports of more than one shooter.
Just shooting back and forth.
2 a.m. in Orlando, Florida, outside Pulse nightclub.
They're still shooting.
Horrified passers-by listening for gunshots, at least 40 fired and counting. Unfolding inside the club, which is popular with the gay community, at least one gunman armed with a semi-automatic weapon on a rampage, barricaded with hostages, reportedly wearing a bomb, spraying bullets into the crowd.
Yeah, I was inside, so at around 2 a.m., shots, someone started shooting. People just dropped on the floor. I guess the shooter was shooting at the ceiling because you could feel like the glass from the lamps falling, and there was a brief pause from the shooting, and some of us just got up and ran out the back. We tried to break down a fence that they have, and we just ran out. After that, I don't know anything more about what happened.
Do you have any indication as to how many people may have been injured in this? I know, obviously, you got out as quickly as you could, but were people hit as far as you could tell?
All I can tell you is the club was packed. There was over 100 people there, and if the gunman came in through the front door, then definitely people have been injured or worse.
Although it's still early in the investigation, we know enough to say that this was an act of terror and an act of hate. And as Americans, we are united in grief, in outrage, and in resolve to defend our people.
Warning, the songs you are about to hear are intended for mature listening audiences only. If you have a weak mind or heart and don't like words like shit, fuck, or cunt, then please refrain from listening any further.
It's time for some real music. It's showtime! We have seen imitators. We've also seen duplicators. But now, it's time for the originators.
Los Angeles and the rest of the decomposing, chaotic, just going to hell world. You're listening to the very Manic Jimmy Cabs Show. I am your host, Jimmy Cabs, broadcasting live from downtown gentrified, urine-smelling downtown LA.
But gluten-free.
Yeah, right, with gluten-free. Where do we begin, folks? Just when you thought last week was bad with the injustices and the blatant fucking just...
we really don't know where to begin.
Every week it just gets worse and worse. By the way, welcome back, Lost Johnny.
Thank you very much. And speaking of chaos and madness and all that good stuff, that's kind of why I have not been around for the past several weeks or so.
Were you devastated that Bernie just blatantly got fucking robbed and you had to go indulge in cannabis for a couple of weeks?
Well, I'm not going to confirm nor deny that, but I got the feels. I got the feels. Not for whom, I'm not going to say that, but there were some feels. But yeah, chaos, all kind of crazy shit going on.
Chaos all the way around, man. I mean, rapists are getting
slaps on the wrist.
6 months because they're great swimmers from a prestigious college.
And it doesn't hurt that or help that the judge who sentenced him was a fellow swimmer himself.
Wow, what a coincidence.
What a shock. What a shock.
I go and I'm still hopeful of the electoral process. Obviously, I'm the last idiot that believes in that because it's obvious that big money rules this country. Just when shit is getting worse, and lo and behold,
the fix is in, Rock.
2016. Listen, let me make this clear. I am not the most politically fucking suave guy, right? Would you agree? I mean,
wholeheartedly.
I have many flaws. I'm very open about it. But here's the deal. One flaw I do not have is I don't violate people's rights. I don't give a fuck what anybody does in their home. Okay, as long as you don't violate my rights, I don't care what you do. 2016, Lost Johnny, this whole homophobic thing is ridiculous to the point where it's going into massacres.
Yep.
Can you picture just a bunch of happy gays in a fucking nice setting partying? First of all, being gay is great.
Amazing.
Let me tell you something. The fact that we're heterosexuals, we're really suffering.
Yeah, the
gays really have it down tight.
Dude, as someone...
It's a happy lifestyle.
It's a great lifestyle.
Great.
And as someone who does frequent the rainbow side of things once in a while, not in a sexual sense.
Of course
I'm gonna make
not.
that
It's the best way to get
clear.
free drinks, man.
Dude,
you're cute. You're handsome.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Right, free drinks.
Hanging out
dudes are dudes.
Hanging out with these dudes is fucking amazing because they're raw. They don't give a fuck. They're just like, dude, I want to make this happen with you right now.
Yeah, and
things happen, and then slap on the shoulders, like, peace out, man. Yeah. No hard
Hey, would you like some cock? No. Hey, all right. I'll just move on to the next guy.
Some dudes get out of those 5 requests, I would say 4 are going to say yes. I mean, the math are just in your favor.
Here's the deal, and this is what is so disgusting. In 2016, the United States of America, a world power, a world leader, allegedly.
A first world country, man.
Here's the deal. Let's just not even discuss the electoral process and all the fucking thievery in that. There is a bunch of men and women also minding their own business, okay, having a great time, trying to fucking, just take some time off this madness, having a great time dancing and partying, and some fucking asshole walks in and shoots the place up.
Starts blasting.
And to top it off, they're gays. Gays don't bother nobody.
Yeah.
You know what?
Those are the last people that fuck with people.
Okay, we have a problem here, folks. And listen, don't start talking to me about gun control because I for one say
you are an avid supporter of the Second Amendment.
We need people think I'm mad when I say this, but it's becoming more and more relevant, and people are starting to see the light. But it's got to get done. We need to be armed. An armed society is a safe, polite society. You see someone with a 40 fucking caliber on their waist, you're not going to think twice about being a dick. If you're somewhere socially or in a school or in a restaurant, if you're armed, guess what? If some asshole decides to walk in there, you are armed.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I find it a travesty. I think it's sad.
It's a fucking crime against humanity, man. This is a fucking straight up hate crime.
Listen, am I the only?
He's a terrorist. That dude's a fucking terrorist.
Am I the only one, people? Am I the only person that's frustrated? I mean, really, what's going on here?
I wouldn't say you're alone in that frustration. I think it goes from literally all the way to the top.
Hey, I am not a cannabis guy. I wish I was. I'm not. But you know what? Legalize marijuana. Get people high.
Dude, and legalize pussy, too.
Yes,
while we're at
legalize prostitution. You know what? Getting high and fucking are two great pleasures that'll keep people sane.
Yeah, it chills you out. You want to go to sleep afterwards. You don't want to pick up a love gun, much less an actual gun.
You want to get high. You want to get laid. And guess what? If for some reason someone wants it to cause some chaos, have a gun by your side. And you know what? Society, this is where we need to be. This is where we need to be. I think it's a tragedy that would happen. 49 people massacred. Can you imagine?
Not just killed.
It's raining men and bullets.
Well, it's raining blood, too.
It's ridiculous.
Too soon?
It's ridiculous. A 3-hour wait for the SWAT team to go in there. People fucking barricaded, texting their loved ones.
Trying to hide. Some people got shot like more than once.
And yet you and I are assholes.
Yeah, we're the dicks.
We're the dicks.
We're the dicks.
We're the dicks. Chester, chime in here. What do you have to say?
We like the gays. Love them.
Yeah.
Are you disgusted too?
Absolutely disgusted, and I think we are entering into a very sick period in our history.
Very dark.
Very
dark. Election. Look at that. Look at what's happening around the world. This is a dark time for America, and all great empires fall. And I think we're at the beginning of that.
You were absolutely right about that.
Would you agree with my opinions in regards to legalizing marijuana, legalizing prostitution, and having a legal conceal and carry for every citizen?
Yeah. So I'm not a gun guy in the sense that
Thank God, because you're frightening too. I've seen the way you are when you're fucked up.
No, I'm not a gun guy, meaning that I just personally am not comfortable with guns. But here's the thing about all the people that say we should outlaw guns. The thing that I don't understand, and maybe you can explain this to me, do criminals give a fuck what the gun laws are?
No.
So we outlaw guns. That means that people with sound body and mind that would step in place to stop one of these happening, they're the ones that aren't going to have guns. But the psychopaths and the criminals, they're going to still have their guns. So that's where I stand on that.
I think in this day and age, it's a necessity. And it really it's a reality. We need to be armed. I know that sounds horrifying to say, and it's sad but true. We need to be fucking stoned, getting laid, and have some guns.
You know where I just came from Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. Beautiful, by the way. The interesting thing about Nevada is that there's two things that are relatively easy to access: guns and marijuana. Their crime rate compared to Texas, Florida, places like that, significant difference. You can go get weed. You can go get laid. You can gamble, for Christ's sakes. No one's going to worry about you. There's literal signs in the markets where it's like, you can have your gun, just don't bring it in here.
Right.
That's all. Everyone's cool because someone is carrying someone. And, you get drunk, you get loud, you get stupid, but you don't cross a line.
You don't cross a line when someone is armed.
You do not cross a line knowing full well that guy is 3 steps away from a serious firearm. You know what I mean?
Let me just say this. I was so outraged and so just flustered and just fed up that I needed an injection of some sort of happiness in my life.
Sure.
And that's why this lovely young lady sitting over there with her handsome band member / friend or whatever. Anyways, the point is I had to bring someone that brings positivity into my life because I was getting to a point where I was like, this is just a bunch of bullshit.
This is maddening.
And guess what? Chester, play that soundbite about Santa Monica, please. It's not only in Orlando, by the way.
Oh, no.
Hey, Chester, you want to wake up over there?
Bong loads.
An Indiana man is jailed in Santa Monica, California.
Santa Monica.
After police arrested him Sunday, heavily armed, and headed to a gay pride parade.
The gay pride parade.
In court tomorrow. Police say he was carrying 3 assault rifles and chemicals used in explosives.
Why do you want to fuck with gays at the gay pride parade? 3 assault rifles and chemicals? They don't bother anybody, dude.
Dude, go to Fallujah with that shit. Go to Syria with that shit.
Right? You know what? Afghanistan is waiting for you. Why don't you go fucking over there?
Yeah, there are a lot of places around the world that could use your help, pal.
Okay,
West Hollywood is not one of them.
Here's the deal. So, fortunately, here in Los Angeles, for those of you that are listening in your own fucking hell, somewhere out, because the whole world's fucked.
Your own Fallujah.
Here in Los Angeles, we almost had something like that happen. I'm sure there's some great lawyer that's going to spin it and say that, you know what, this is a misunderstanding or what have you. 3 assault rifles going to a parade where a bunch of homosexuals were going to go celebrate the fact that they're gay. And you know what? God bless them.
I mean, not only is that celebration just for gays, I mean, I was passing through there before the whole thing started, and there was a pretty wide berth of people besides blatantly homosexual men, and it was cool. I mean, it really is a celebration of the lifestyle, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah, whether you
it's a gathering of people, and again, everything's positive. Everyone's there, have a good time, and yada yada yada.
All right, so listen, before I talk you to death here, and I want to get to my guests because I need some happiness. Do me a favor. Bernie's not going anywhere, so fucking please, all of you that are still waving that flag, sober up. Number 2, start writing your congressmen, start writing fucking all your politicians, all your representatives, especially here in California. Tell them that you're sick and tired of the madness and you want to fucking exercise the right to have firearms to protect yourself, not only in your home, but when you fucking go to the market or take your kid to the school.
Goddamn, go to a movie.
Number 3, please. Led Zeppelin is on trial as we speak. We've talked about this before, but for those of you, Chester, you want to cue that Zeppelin song there, please? Here's the deal. I get so much backlash because I bash on Led Zeppelin. I don't bash on Led Zeppelin. I speak the truth. They're fucking thieves. They've been doing it forever. They were rock gods. They fucking blossomed. They prospered. Now, finally, the truth is coming out.
Right.
The fact is this is a jury trial.
That's a whole other different level of legal tactics.
It's a jury trial. You know what that means? That means it's a bunch of fucking assholes that are Led Zeppelin fans.
Oh, man.
Chester, let's recap and talk a little bit about Led Zeppelin thievery. Play that soundbite about the history of Led Zeppelin, please. And turn off this fucking song.
I feel like I got finger banged for the first time.
Talking approximately 12 beats, probably the most famous intro in rock music history. And the interesting story here is that Led Zeppelin in 1968, the day after Christmas, opened for the band Spirit and then played with them, opened for them 4 times.
Wow, what balls.
In 1969. So in order to sustain a copyright infringement case, you have to show access. In fact, Led Zeppelin even covered part of Taurus's songs, certain songs in concerts. So we have that. So we have access, we have the similarity, and probably the basis of a lawsuit. Now, it should be noted, too, that this is not the first time that Led Zeppelin has been sued over their music.
Not the first time.
Whole Lot of Love, Dazed and Confused, the Lemon Song, and another track were also subjects of litigation, and there, reportedly, the band settled.
Custard pie for Led Zeppelin. That's all I have to say. It'd be nice if some justice would be rendered to some of these artists that they blatantly ripped off and they didn't get shit. Here's another reason why I'm sick and tired of this whole dynasty. You got to remember, back in like the late 60s, early 70s, when record companies or record company mafias were so powerful, they would literally brainwash you. This is what I am rebelling against now as a grown adult. From the age of 3 years old, I remember vividly, because I had stoner neighbors, 1973 to fucking now, even now still, you know, Dina's still next door.
Yes, she is.
The point is Led Zeppelin, the Eagles. Okay, great music.
Have their merit.
Okay, but you know what? There's a lot of brainwashing. Move on, people. There's still people fucking talking about Jim Morrison, dude. Give me a break.
You know, it's one of those.
Move on.
I mean, all you have to do is still read as if you should read Rolling Stone that are squeezing every single fucking possible molecule from that era of
Between
music.
gays being massacred and Led Zeppelin fans, I'm losing my mind. Okay.
I'm going to listen to EDM. Jokes.
What did we hear? Because I can't wait to get to my guest.
Yes.
What did we open the block with?
I'm excited for tonight's guest as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were...
actually, the thing about our friendship, as long as it's gone, you have spoken about our guests consistently to the point where I feel I know her. I know that what she's done and the accomplishments and so forth. So, I mean, it's just as much of a thing for me as it is for you. You've met her before. I have not. So this is actually a pretty cool thing.
Very great day today.
So we started the set properly with Saviors, friends of ours, friends of everyone here, Holy Slaughter. And after that, we heard Brazil's own Christian, Massacre Under the Sun. After that, we heard England's classic Discharge. Shamefully, they did not make their show this past couple weeks ago, but they will be back. Massacre of the Innocents, Air Attack. After that, we heard the band Massacre, As We Wait to Die. And we ended the set properly with, oh man, the late, great Phil Lynott, Thin Lizzy Massacre. Get on these tracks if you don't have them, kids.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all those songs are in regards to
all
the
too
massacre
apropos.
in Orlando, which is we're giving our condolences not only to there, but
all the massacres, man. It's just going to happen again, man.
Okay, 1983, 13-year-old Northeast LA, El Sereno, East LA adolescent. I would say lower income.
Sure.
Was attracted to a subgenre of music, which at the time was very popular and became even more popular. And I would take the RTD, Rapid Transit District. Is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Yeah, the RTD, which was the public transportation, all the way out to Santa Monica Boulevard to the Troubadour, all the way out to West Hollywood to the Roxy and
mind you, just to give a little geographical context from where you and I both grew up, to go from where we grew up to West Hollywood or Hollywood,
it's like traveling to Mars.
Seriously, it was like some Star Trek shit. Like, whoa, you're passing through some pretty gnarly areas. And yeah, I rode the bus when I was like 12, 13 years old. I'm like, dude, wide-eyed. And to go from just the journey to get there and then to see the show must have been awe-inspiring.
Let me tell you why I was doing that. There was a lady, an elegant, beautiful lady called Betsy, and her band was Bitch. And she was so mesmerizing. She was so hypnotic that 30-something years later, by the way, Betsy, thank you for not filing a restraining order on me. 30 years later, not only do I enjoy her music and her performances, and fortunately to get to speak to her as grown adults, but we're going to speak to her because she, I would say, is one of the most underrated artists ever. I think that even though the so-called high-caliber, well-renowned, female-fronted musicians have credited her, I think criminally she has not been recognized as she should.
She is definitely part of a legacy.
And she is still here, folks. She is still here. She, I just saw her play a couple months ago. So we have Betsy Bitch here. We're going to get to her in a bit. With that, Chester, let's get the show started. Take it away.
with an unlimited supply of misinformation is Mr. Know-It-All.
All right. I want to thank Betsy Bitch for coming all the way down to downtown Los Angeles. By the way, doesn't downtown Los Angeles resemble New York now?
Yeah, it does.
Right?
It's changed a lot.
Did you like that vintage urine smell, say 1973?
And the people, running around screaming, and ranting and raving, they really added to the,
You mean there was bitch fans outside?
It's actually really neat around here. I still say neat. It's really cool. The way they've kind of, gentrified it and made it, more of a place where people live. Before it was just offices and, lawyers and people in three-piece suits walking around, very business-oriented, but now it's more like, you see people walking dogs and, it's a lot more residential, but it's still, physically looks the same.
Well, I normally fucking hate coming down here, but since you love it, I love it too.
Slumming. Hey, man, I came all the way from the suburbs of San Fernando Valley.
818.
Studio City, baby.
Lost Johnny, what did we hear? So we get into it here.
Yes, we just heard a new song from a band that you and I are quite fond of, Ida Gemini, Black Door, from their new record, Old World, New Wave. I will be seeing that show tomorrow along with Alaric and Death Crux.
Fantastic bands at the Complex. I would strongly suggest you venture out on a Wednesday night.
Totally. I will definitely be there. And before that, we heard Virginia's Own Cough, another band I'm a huge fan of. Hunter of the Dark from their new record, Still They Pray. Can't wait to see them when they come through here again.
All right. As I mentioned before, 1983. My God, where has all the time gone? 1983.
Oh, so that was what, like 40, almost 40. It was like 35, 30
I just want to say right
I'm terrible
off,
at math.
I just want to say right off the bat, I've been doing this for 6 years now, allegedly. Professionally, or whatever you want to call it. This is the first time that I am extremely nervous. Lost Johnny, have you ever seen me?
That.
Have you ever seen me nervous like
it's
this?
Only me, Jimmy.
It's just a bit. Just a bit. This is new.
Let me just say this. As I was telling you before, let me rest assured I don't have stalking. I'm not an obsessed fan. As a matter of fact, the first question I want to ask you is how do you deal with individuals like myself, the older demographic of bitch fans, and now this new resurrected fan base that is obsessed with the Betsy Bitch persona? How do you deal with that?
It's nothing. I wouldn't say dealing with it is really.
I've seen you out in public, darling. They come all. You're surrounded. You're mobbed.
I guess that is dealing with it in a way. It's great. I love it. I'm happy to not be anonymous. And it's nice to get the recognition, and it's nice to still get the recognition after all these years.
Do you enjoy it, really? Do you enjoy the attention you get?
I do. I really do. I mean, it's great. It makes, it just makes going out, so much more fun. Even when I'm not playing, I still get recognized and I still get the attention. Once in a while it makes it a little difficult to get to the bathroom, and get back to get back to the booth before the band goes on. You gotta
By the way,
fight the crowd.
We're also joined with Randy, which is your percussionist of your new band. I apologize for that. I'm sure you're used to that, right?
It's Randall West.
Randall West, Scandal West, wherever.
Bitch drummer extraordinaire.
Do you find it, how do I phrase this properly? I'm just going to say, do you find it interesting that your appeal, the attraction, the excitement is still there, yet musically, career-wise, what's going on? All these other female-fronted artists, is it the PR companies? Is it just you were ahead of your time? Because I would say, and this has been concurred by other music journalists / historians or whatever, I would say that not only were you one of the first pioneering heavy metal, because we could go back and say the Runaways and so forth. Heavy metal in Los Angeles.
You could say the Runaways, because that was one of the reasons that was one of my inspirations, was seeing the Runaways.
But they
didn't up there, and
but they didn't do what you did, because here's the deal. I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me say this: since the bitch persona, there have been so many other female-fronted bands where they have taken sexuality. They've taken feminism to a whole other level, but you were the first, and you still are the only female musician that does not rely on that. And what I mean by that is there's a universal talent, whether it's your voice, your performance, the command of the stage, the songs, the songwriting. Whereas other female musicians are relying on the look, they're relying on the PR, they're relying on the stage antics, the sexuality aspect. You're a natural, organic, sexual, excuse what I'm saying, a sexual, beautiful beast on stage, but it's all natural. It's not an act.
I think
Am I rambling here?
You can stop now.
Okay.
I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to quantify what you mean. I wanted to make sure that, when I did decide to, finally do this, because I knew it was something I always wanted to do, that I could, come out with the whole package and be
Boy, you have.
Be good at it and, not be a poser, be, have be interesting on stage, trying not to be, phony or like, not true to, to what I'm doing up there. No, I think I'm rambling.
and let's remind the audience, you started, I believe, 1980, 81?
Well, the band got together in late 1980, and our first gig was in 1981.
Under Reagan at that time.
Yeah.
Under the epitome of conservatism. This is before the PMRC Nazi agenda. This is under Reagan. This is, everybody needs to pray in school. And you were doing Bitch.
Yeah, well, I kind of got...
Is that a lot of balls lost on here or what?
Huge.
And let's also mention, again, this is for those of you that are my age and, you're suffering memory loss like I do, or for these young kids that you haven't Googled it. You have not Googled this yet. This was during an era of music here in Los Angeles, which was exploding at that time. Amazing artists, amazing bands, so eclectic from every realm, from all over the city. But you were doing it, you were one of the few female, you and also Amberlynn of Hellion. And the sexism of that time, this is alpha male.
That's something that really needs to be clarified. Is the
alpha
whole
male.
Yeah.
Alpha male sexism at that time. These dudes were like fucking full-on testosterone, and there you are, neck and neck with them. Sometimes even more balls than these dudes.
Yeah, I always felt like I was, sort of accepted into the boys' club as far as that goes.
Oh, sweetheart, you fucking kicked them in the nuts.
Well, that's,
You know what? What are we doing?
I know, jeez, man. I mean, we really have
what
to
an achievement.
We really have to put into context for people who aren't that familiar.
You made Ron Kill look like a pussy, man.
I know. I mean, you got to figure Betsy and Bitch they're going to head with Metallica and Slayer and all the bands of that era, and she fucking held her own. No doubt about that.
Well, I have to give credit to original guitar player and original drummer David Caruth and Robbie Settles, because they're the one that this was their vision. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted a female fronted leather and studs band called Bitch, with a kick-ass female on vocals. And all I did was I just put an ad in the Music Connection just saying, hard charismatic female singer looking for hard rock band. And
you met these guys and they're like, hey, we want a band called Bitch and we want you to get crazy up there.
And I'm like, okay, sure. Because I had just come out of a ska band.
Really?
Wow.
So I actually fled from it was more the word, where they really tried to stifle my sexuality, and they had me, dressed down in little suits and pork pie hat and put my hair up in braids and a little skinny tie, and I had a skank and, act like it just wasn't me. So, I mean, I was ready for something, where I could really just, show my stuff.
Take us to the first time you're in the room with the guys. You're like, okay, we're going to rock. You got to do your thing. I mean, what was paint us the picture.
Well, we started out just at rehearsals, just writing songs. I think the first song we wrote was Live for the Whip.
Wow.
And
what a song.
And
yeah, not subtle.
That was David's song, music and lyrics. I think I embellished the lyrics a little bit, but that was, all him. And then we figured, let's take this song and make it a concept for the band and give the audience a visual as well as.
Did you feel empowered by doing that? Because again, this is the early '80s under Reaganomics and male chauvinistic fucking attitudes.
I was elated because I've been worshiping Alice Cooper since I was 13 years old, and I'm like, yeah, well, this can be like the female Alice Cooper. I get to play a part. I get to be Betsy Bitch on stage.
Alice Cooper does not look good in leather like you, darling.
Oh, yeah,
I mean that with all due respect.
How's that for irony?
I have the man tattooed on my arm. Don't say anything bad about Alice.
Lucky best.
I mean, how's that for irony? Is that Alice Cooper, the guy, wanted to adopt a female name, yet we have Betsy here adopting herself, but in a more masculine, aggressive manner. It's a full circle.
As you can tell, not only do I respect your career and I admire what you've done, I also am a fan as far as your beauty. But let me ask you this. Do you think that is why maybe that kind of hindered your career because of the Betsy persona?
It hindered it?
Yeah, because I think you should be...
I think I wasn't taken,
I think you should be...
taken seriously?
I wasn't. There weren't a lot of females being taken seriously back then, especially... in the type of music that we were doing. It wasn't, as widely accepted
you broke the door. You broke the door open.
I was a pioneer, and I came in a little covered wagon with a bonnet. Not really.
Now, let me ask...
that kind of a...
let me ask you a very personal question, and by all means, you don't have to answer it, but we keep it very real here. Does it fucking bother you, though? Does it annoy you the fuck? Because I'm dealing with...
What? Just what annoy me?
The fact that here you broke down that door. Okay, you are the pioneer, and you get recognized for it. But you broke down door. I think you should be headlining the forums. I think you should.
Oh yeah, that part pisses me off. Sure.
And I'm not just talking because of the financial aspect of it. Listen, you know what? There was a time where I was like against capitalism. Fuck it, I want money now. The point is I don't like the fact that when they mentioned Doro or when they mentioned Angela from what was that fucking band? Arch Enemy. You should be mentioned first.
Absolutely.
You should be mentioned first. And I mean this sincerely. And it's been driving me nuts for over fucking 25 years.
Well, I do get included in a lot of those, polls and things. There's a VH1 poll, the top 10, heavy metal women singers. And I was in there. I may have been number 10, but I was still there.
I think you should be mentioned number 1.
Well, she's known as the first lady of metal, so.
And this is the beauty of it. The fact that you are still here and you are still doing what you do more powerful than ever. I've seen you play recently, and I mean, your performances are outstanding. The fact that you still have your voice. Now, and what I mean by that is being a vocalist is very, very draining on the vocal cord.
Very much so. Especially when you're trying to sing through the Marshall amps.
I mean, look at these big name acts now. They're doing their big tours, their big farewell tour. I mean, I just saw an ad for Vince Neil. That fucking guy can't sing for shit, but he's still up there, trying to get it done.
Vince Neil.
There you go. My question to you is:
I don't know if you said Vince Gill or Vince Neil.
No, Vince Gill is.
I thought we moved on to the country genre.
We're talking about stagecoach.
How have you maintained that power vocally in your performance? Because it's still just as deadly as it was back in those days.
I think I don't know, for some reason my vocals just got better as I got older. I got, it's like I aged like a fine wine. No, I don't know. I think I just learned from my mistakes. And I did take some vocal lessons. I haven't taken any in a while, but the last teacher I studied with, gave me a technique, that's applicable even to this day. And I think, I just started singing correctly. And I think like I said, I just kind of learned along the way.
Well, you know what? What more can I say to that?
I mean, it's kind of obvious that Betsy here is no stranger to the gym. No. So that probably has a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, well, my gym is in my home, so that makes it easy. Everything's right there staring at me, and if I don't use it, I feel guilty.
Mine too.
All right. We're going to listen to some bitch right now. Let me just say this again. For those of you that are familiar with Betsy Bitch, for those of you that have heard of Betsy Bitch, for those of you that have not, this is indeed the pioneer. This is the queen. And I am so glad that I can tell you this not only face-to-face, but I have written about it, and I have had numerous discussions on the record and off. And I think one of the privileges and one of the greatest enjoyments that I've ever had is watching you perform, because I've watched you as a child, and now I've watched you as an adult. And just to see you, number one, not only blossom and still have that power, but the fact that a 46-year-old man who doesn't really have much happiness in his life, even though I got a great-looking lady, and, I get laid and stuff, I wake up pissed off every day. But when I hear a Betsy song, or I see you perform, or I see a photo, it just enlightens the world. And I know that I'm not the only one. So thank you for that, especially in this day and fucking age that we're in.
Glad to be at your service.
Chester, play some bitch loud.
Do it.
February 18th, 2015, right after midnight, 2 Stanford grad students were biking across campus and spotted a freshman thrusting himself on an unconscious, half-naked woman behind a dumpster at a party.
All you're believing won't save you now. The players are leaving, but they don't know how. The city's bleeding, the heart and soul are gone. The music's seething, it won't last very long. Death walks behind you, it follows in your wake. Scratches at your fingers, tears at your face. All of a sudden, it's give and take. The devil's winning, the human race. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. Damnation, damnation alley. Oh, what an awful place to have to be. You play so hard and it means nothing. I just can't see what they want me to be. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. Damnation, damnation alley. Don't walk alone through the valley. Damnation, damnation alley. You'll never get out of here alive. You'll never get out of here
You're being very obedient now, aren't you?
Yes, Mistress.
So let's speak freely. You, can you look up at me now? You realize that this beautiful woman is going to torture you today.
I'm very aware of that.
She's going to tease you today and do the wicked things that she loves to do.
All right. One of the things that I enjoy most is when I get to speak to musicians that I admire greatly, and doesn't hurt that they're hot too. Betsy Bitch is here with us on the very Manic Jimmy Cab Show. Lost Johnny, what did we hear?
We heard the first song that Bitch ever wrote and recorded. Well, not recorded, but Live for the Whip from the Metal Massacre compilation that came out, so long ago. Who else is on that Metal Massacre compilation?
Oh, Jesus. Who was on that?
Metallica, Rat.
I think Rust, was it?
Slayer?
All the pioneers of that era.
Malice. Sirith Ungol.
Wow.
Quite incredible company.
And none of them look as good as you did, Jonathan. None of them.
You know, she is going to have to fit in the elevator on the way down.
And then we started the set properly with Damnation Alley from the EP of the same name. So
stay away from the alleys.
That was the very first thing we ever put out was the Damnation Alley EP.
Incredible.
On Metal Blade Records. First release, first band release. He had Metal Massacre compilations, a couple of them, but Bitch was Brian Slagle's very first full band release, where our catalog number is MBR 000000001 or something like that.
Again, I mean, you want to talk about the first out of the block.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could go on and on with this, but I'm going to, hey, Chester, you want to lower that, please? My question to you is...
Keep it down in there, Chester.
It is 2016. What is going on with you now? What are you doing? Are you working on material? Or would you like to work on material?
Well, we have, not to dodge the material question, but I'll just preface it by saying I have an all-new kick-ass lineup. Am I allowed to say ass? Oh, yeah, you said fuck a bunch of times. You can
say whatever you want,
That's
darling.
right, you dropped
You're
the F-bomb every other
you
word.
You are the queen. You can do whatever you want.
I have a fucking kick-ass lineup. No. Brand new lineup. Well, not brand new, but a couple of years. Randall West on drums, who's here with me tonight.
Hello, Randall.
Hello.
Chris Cardenas on guitar and Angelo Valdespino on bass.
Nice.
And we are currently, we've played some really cool shows recently. We played with Doro at the Whiskey. We played with Hellion at the Whiskey. We opened up for Loudness near San Diego this past Halloween. We played the Rainbow Anniversary parking lot show, which was great.
Was that great? Because,
that was the first show for the new lineup.
I'm sure.
And the new format.
I'm sure performance-wise it must have been great. But, I mean... can you hanging out at the Rainbow with all those great people around you, and they're all Betsy?
Yeah, well, I'm up there, and they're down there. I'm up here, and they're down there. No, it was.
Do you carry hand sanitizer around with you? Because
no, I travel light. I don't even carry a purse.
So we were talking about material. You talking about the new band, and you've been playing shows. Will you be working on any new material? Are you inspired to work on new material? Do you want to?
All of the above.
Do you find it, let me get to the hard questions. Do you find it difficult to, or intimidating when you're thinking about, and this is also for you as well, Randy, when you're thinking about writing new material or you're conceiving, does the older iconic material kind of hang over your head? Is it one of those things where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of?
No, I mean, I think people still want us, sounding heavy. We're not going to be doing... anything lightweight, it's still going to be heavy. I just, would like to, sort of update it a little bit, make it sound a little, I don't want to say modern because I don't like that.
It can be old and new at the same time. I mean, there's bands that do that well.
Yeah. I mean, I want good, heavy, melodic, hook-oriented songs. That's what I want. And I want them now.
Well, what was interesting was, I think it was 1987 when you released the Betsy record, and you were kind of going more in the melodic direction and straying away from the Betsy bitch, dominatrix. And what was interesting for me was the fact that even though that material was strong and it held the weight, at that time, I remember vividly the demographic splitting. And that's unfortunate when it comes to when you have an audience that becomes so obsessed with an image or a persona where they They don't want that artist to grow. Was that frustrating for you at that time?
Well, metal fans are very loyal to their metal. You know, they want to keep it heavy. And I think they maybe saw that, you know, what we did with the Betsy album as a little bit of a betrayal. You know,
it was a great record.
It was. The songs were great, but but back then,
by the way,
it was
I'm not just saying that. It was a great record.
Thank you. It's my favorite.
It's mine too, actually. So,
did you enjoy the freedom on that record to go into that realm?
I did. I enjoyed. You know, I can safely say that I enjoyed listening to every cut off that album. There's no part where I cringe or say, "Oh God, I don't want to hear this part." You know, there are on some of the other albums,
really,
which were recorded. Well, a lower budget and. You know, less of a budget, you know, so, you know, we had a little bit more freedom with the Betsy album to kind of, you know, stretch out and you know, make it good and make it better. But that album, there was a lot of outside songwriting, which was the first time we ever solicited any songwriters other than, you know, within the band. There was about half the songs on there were not written by us. They were, you know, we gave them the bitch, you know, customization. You know, they became ours. You know, we kind of heavied them up, you know, in contrast to how they first came to us. But you know, a lot of that was outside songwriting, and it was, you know, it was different. It was different for us. It was different for the fans. But you know, I like it. So I think, you know, what I'd like to do in the future is, you know, sort of a cross between the really heavy stuff and the Betsy stuff somewhere. You know, a little what do they call it?
I would enjoy that immensely because, again, not that I need to mention this, but you are a extremely talented vocalist.
Thank you.
And again, let me just say this, not that I need to say this, but the fact that your vocal cords are not only stronger than ever, but the performance is at a majestic level now.
Well, I just have a great time on stage.
Is that the secret?
I love I feel more comfortable on stage
stress-free
than I do, you know, walking around in real life, or maybe the stage is real life. I'm not sure. But no, I mean, I adore the attention. You know, I know I'm good up there. I know people are enjoying watching me, and I really, you know, it's very gratifying.
Does that same gratification and pleasure affect your personal life?
I'm not sure what you're getting at.
I mean, do you take the stage home with you?
Wait, pleasure in my personal life? What exactly are you asking?
Let me be more descriptive and more to the point. A lot of the artists from that era in the 80s, okay, because of the at the time maybe the money that the record labels were throwing out, the excesses, the successes, they were very narcissistic to the point where reality set in a couple of years later. They can't exist in day-to-day life. I still see some of these people. They still think it's 1983, 1984. They still think like I should kiss their ass. And I'm like, you're not doing anything. You're nothing. You're a human just like me. I've never seen that with you. And that's another reason why I respect you immensely, because you've always been humble. Now, I'm not around you 24/7, but I have seen the way you carry yourself in public, the way you interact with your fans. You're very graceful. You're very patient. I don't know how you do it. Sometimes I feel like jumping in and telling people to leave you alone. It's crazy. How have you achieved that though? Because you have so many people kissing your ass. Some people telling you how beautiful are. They're up on stage worshiping you. How can you adjust when you go to Vaughn's the next day?
Because I'm just, that's, you know, once again, the Alice Cooper comparison comes in. I mean, I'm a normal, you know, everyday, you know, normal person. I'm not Betsy bitch all the time. You know, there has to be, you know, a break between the real person and, you know, the persona on stage. Otherwise, you know, why go see a performer if they're going to be like that 24/7? You know, you want to see their character on stage. You don't you don't want them, you know, you don't want to, you know, live that 24/7. You want to just be that person when you're on stage, and then when you're off stage, you turn it off. And, you know, and when I turn it off and I still get the admiration, that's, you know, that's Betsy Weiss, you know, accepting all of that. And, you know, Betsy bitch is the character on stage. When I'm off stage, you know, people come up to me and they want a photo, or they want me to sign something, or they want to talk to me, or they want to tell me they used to go see me when they were 12 years old, you know, make me feel ancient or whatever. Yeah.
Does that make you feel bad?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for attention, you know, and I've always been that way ever since I was little. I'm a Leo. I don't know. I'm not very much into astrology, but I understand that that's a trait.
You know, it was funny. Chester, why don't you put up the pictures of me and Betsy, bitch? Let's say. So this is recently you came out in Bob Nadel. Oh, I'm going to butcher his last name. Help me out here. Nalbandian.
Yes.
Came out in his documentary. It's the second part of heavy metal, L.A. heavy metal. Oh, Jesus.
Inside L.A. metal.
Bob's a really good guy.
Great guy.
Very, very nice guy.
I love I love his documentary series.
Oh, yeah.
Because he really gets to the true nature of it.
It was so great seeing, all the people, back then and now, and all the flyers and it was just really, just brought back a lot of memories. It was a great era, and I'm glad I was a part of it.
Now, we're going to, Chester, there's a photo of you and I there. You were very gracious to take it with me. Why don't you put up the picture of that fucking cockblocker that fucking came in after? This is what was so frightening. As you and I were having a conversation, this grown man who is my age or older not only barged in. Do you remember that, darling? Do you remember that? You were there. You were horrible.
I see you, but I can't make it.
Yeah, because that guy right there just came in between us and pulled you. And then whipped out posters and is like, sign this.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was mortified. Do you remember that, darling? Right? My she-wolf was next to me that night. And I was, not only was it rude, it was just frightening. And the fact that you were so calm and,
Well, what am I going to say? Get the hell out of here. I'm not
At least she was being asked to sign something.
Poster.
Wasn't shoved in her face. Or, like what things have happened to you where some random person just like, hi, I'm going to grab your balls from behind you.
Do you deal with that? have you?
No, I've never had my balls grabbed.
No.
Or my boobs.
Ugh,
have you had any scares like that, though? Because I've seen the admiration that you've had from your fans. And as maybe I'm just a little pussy and I get too shaken up, but I find it disturbing. That's why when I see you out in public, I say hello and I keep a distance. I get
you don't.
They're never too overboard.
I act right. I try to act right.
No, you're very cordial.
Have you ever had any scares like that? Because there's a lot of chemical imbalances out there.
I'm really boring. One time when I was on stage, I got pulled into the audience. I was at the edge of the stage, leaning over, singing to somebody, and I got actually pulled into the audience. I've never felt so many hands on me in my entire life, all over every part of my
Randy,
body.
where were you? You weren't there.
I wasn't there yet.
Oh, this was a long time
No, I've gotten in knockdown dragouts over female vocalists getting shit from idiots off stage. So,
well, if you're performing and if I ever see that, trust me, I'll be the first to jump in and.
My fans are very respectful.
They are. I've noticed that, with the exception of that guy we just showed the photo.
He wanted his poster signed.
Like I said, at least he wanted something signed.
He had his Sharpies
It gets worse.
He was prepared. At least he had that.
You can't turn down a guy with a Sharpie,
I still think it's a Chuck Wright thing out of the Quiet Riot movie. When they're signing autographs and everything, the kid's arguing with him on whether or not he's on the CD, and then he pulls it away and doesn't want him to sign it.
Right.
I can't believe they left that in.
Poor Chuck.
That's just horrid.
At that time, as we mentioned, under Reaganomics and the conservative right and all that, and then the PMRC arose. I remember very vividly that you were one of the prominent artists that they would always display as far as Tipper Gore hated you.
She carried that Be My Slave album around with her everywhere she went.
Everywhere. Do you think she was seriously admiring your body? And, maybe?
I know Al Gore was.
Yeah, Al wanted a little of that. He said, honey, why don't you get one of those cat o' nine tails? Instead of Tipper, we can call you Whipper.
Right?
Tipper didn't realize good publicity or bad publicity is still publicity.
Did you?
Yeah, she gave us some of the best publicity of our entire career.
Did you enjoy being in the microscope at that time?
Oh yeah, it was PR. It was like, and that at that time, the more controversial, the better. So it was like, bring it on. Keep going.
Now, you mentioned that you played recently with Doro, which is another female artist who is righteously so in her own way has created her path and is very successful worldwide. How did you enjoy performing with her? Because I was very pleased to see that you were on that bill.
Oh, it was great. I rallied, to get us on as, Jake Perry, the booker for the Whiskey. He had the whole show booked. It was all, crammed with bands and, some a lot of pre-sale bands that sold tickets, and it was already all booked. And I said, I saw it listed, and I said, Jake, you got to, Bitch and Doro, you're going to have a line around the block.
Yeah.
And, at first he hedged, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to cut I'm going to cut, 5 or 10 minutes off of each band set. I'm going to give you a half an hour right before Doro. So, I mean, it was awesome. I was really, glad that it came through.
Did you enjoy the recognition and the love that you got that night? Because I was there that night.
Oh, yeah. It was
a good show.
Another one of those.
It was a great show.
Another one of those love fests. Yeah, I love it. I'll always, like I said, sometimes, it's kind of hard in a crowded, like when I went to go see Armored Saint at the Whiskey a couple weekends ago, which was great, by the way, kind of hard to get from point A to point B, without, people pulling you in 27 different directions. But, I'm not complaining at all. I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate my like Justin Bieber. I'm not going to shake hands with anybody anymore. I'm not going to do any more photo ops. I mean, it's great. This is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be recognized and not anonymous. So.
And it's very demanding, too. I mean, as far as I know in the research I've done, you've never been married, correct?
Never.
Why is that?
Never.
If you don't mind me asking, and if it's too personal, by all means, tell me to fuck off.
No. Well, can I tell you to fuck off anyway?
Sure.
Thank you.
No,
Listen,
I'm
you
not.
can tell me to fuck off anytime you want, because you are literally, I'm sorry, my lovely she-wolf, but you are literally the only female that I would never turn around and rebut.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck off.
Hey, I deserve
It's
it.
hard to say a whole bunch of times in a row. I just found that out. What was the question? Oh, married.
Yeah, because it's very demanding. Why is the career very demanding?
No, it was never because of the career or because I thought if I got married, I wouldn't be able to sing anymore. As a matter of fact, I lived with David Caruth, my guitar player and the founder of Bitch, for 24 years. And neither one of us had Mary fever or baby fever or anything. It was just never a priority. It was never anything that, I still think it's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you meet someone and you're like, okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you, and I'm going to sign a piece of paper. And then if by some chance, we break up, we have to, get lawyers involved. I mean, I don't get it.
Oh, especially in California.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
And spend
or cheap.
thousands of dollars to feed, people bad food, and ugly bridesmaids dresses, and I don't know. I just don't believe
it becomes more about everything but the couple.
Yeah, I don't think that that's all necessary to be a couple. I'm not saying I'm against relationships. I don't get marriage, and as far as having kids, since that's sort of synonymous with marriage.
She prefers dogs.
I'm a great dog mom. I never thought I'd be a good mother, and I never regretted not having kids. And that actually was in part to, the band thing, because you just can't come and go as you please when you have children.
Absolutely,
especially when they're
You're
infants.
shackled.
Yeah, so I'm too selfish with my time. I never wanted to go there.
Well, thank you for answering that.
Yeah, I know. I'm very upfront about it. Anything else you want to ask me?
I want to ask you so much. I've
had a boob job, yeah.
Let's talk about the new band. How are you enjoying this new dynamic?
The new lineup?
The new lineup.
Oh, it's great. They're all, great friends of mine, and we all get along, and we have fun, playing and rehearsing, and, we're all good people, and great musicians. Oh yeah, I should add that too. We all, everyone's just top notch in their, as far as the musicianship goes. And it's great. It's like a, rejuvenation of the band.
I can imagine the pleasure in that, because it seems that when the premise is if you're surrounded by a bunch of positive, productive people, then it's a good environment, a rich environment.
Yeah,
would you agree with that?
Yeah, we're all mature. We've all, that's another word for old. We're not, there's nothing that went on in the 80s, like, drug addicts in the band, or people not showing up to rehearsal, and flaking. It's just everyone's really solid, and we're all on the same page musically.
Excellent. Chester, why don't we play another great Betsy Bitch song? Betsy Bitch is our guest here on the Very Manic Jimmy Capp Show. Take it away.
We hope your stay here on Agony Island will be as memorable as it will be unpleasant. Before we show you to your suite, permit me to review the rules.
Rules? Silence! No speaking unless spoken to.
That is rule number 1. Rule number 2, the leash law. One of you must wear one at all times. All our guests are either masters or pets.
You're in need of correction, aren't you?
Yeah.
I might leave leave marks.
Hello. Okay. You know, I was having an interesting conversation with Randy about terrestrial radio. You have a background in radio.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Betsy. We're going to
I want you to.
We're gonna just split real quick.
I can take a break from talking about myself just for a couple of minutes.
What's interesting about terrestrial radio, or what
was FM,
was the fact that radio is dead. This is the new forum now. Even though you have to dig through so much shit, the whole spirit of radio is dead.
It's not the magic that it was. I mean, it's not like the Beatles were made and everything else made. And it's, God. a ton of shit, and then you've got the
So you went
on-demand
from radio.
thing.
You went from radio to being a musician.
Yeah, well, I did both.
How
at
are
the
you
same
not
time.
angry? How are you not shooting up a bunch of fucking?
No, it's
you smoke marijuana?
No.
Okay.
I'm straight as can be, believe it or not.
That's
and so
good.
is she. So, but I went from I was in high school. I would go to school. I'll go to the radio station, do my shift. Then, if it was the weekend or something, I would go play that night.
Wow.
And I had my last hour of my show voice tracked.
So you were at the good end of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
it was
had
before.
I had a blast.
It's before
It
the
was great.
corporate mafias and
it was before
monopolies.
Infinity and Cumulus and Clear Channel took over everything. It was back, and now you've not only you've got like you said, the amount of shit that's internet radio.
I think you need to broadcast a show yourself here on the internet, man. This is a new forum.
I think he'd be great.
I'd be up for it. I'd be up for like a weekend show or occasionally or who knows what more. But
All right.
The other thing you got to deal with is the iPod. It's not like people listen to the radio to get their music anymore. They've got anything they want on their phone or wherever, anything,
Or satellite.
Yeah, satellite, Pandora. So it's not like
podcasts.
Yeah, the magic of a DJ formatting things and falling in love with the way they pick things.
I'm the last asshole. I'm the only one that does that shit. Betsy Bitch is here with us. Thank you for that.
Oh,
I still
you're very
listen
welcome.
to-
I miss it.
I still listen to like regular radio, like KLOS and Pirate Jack FM. I mean, I have a boombox in every room in my house. I mean, I'm old school. I still like radio.
Do you find it interesting that not only have you retained your original fan base, but now this whole resurrection with the youth where they're so obsessed, they're so hungry, they're so eager to get just a taste of that, what they've read or they've heard, that vintage metal, that dynamic era that will never be replicated. And guess what? They get to see you perform, as I mentioned before numerous times, at top caliber. But do you enjoy it now? Do you enjoy seeing an old fucker like me all excited, and then there's like another 15-year-old guy next to me, and we're both talking about your album covers?
It really validates the type of music that I do, and it's
timeless.
It's the type of music that will always sell out the concerts, pack out the clubs. People still listen to music that was made way back when in the olden days. It's still it's not a fad. It's not flash in the pan, and the fans of that type of music are the most genuine and loyal, and there's just so much longevity to this type of music.
It really does comes down to it is a lifestyle, as in for life.
It is, and that's really evident in Europe when we went to Europe. The couple
oh
of times
my God, I can just imagine the maniacs over there.
They love their metal over there. That's why all the good festivals are over there, and people come from everywhere to these festivals. A lot of them are the two that we played were in Germany, but there's people from everywhere, from Spain, from South America. They all converge, at these big European festivals, and they just the fans. There's no violence, there's no moshing, there's no rioting or setting things on fire. They just all stand there and listen to the music, and and the types of bands that they want to see are the bands that have been around forever, like me, like mine. All the dinosaurs. I hate to call it that.
I wouldn't use that term. I would use
veterans.
Classic.
I would use the term
legends.
Legends.
Oh, okay. I like that better than dinosaurs.
Sweetheart, you're not a dinosaur. You must have some sort of vampire blood because time does not touch you. And I've said that to you off the record. I say that on. Well, and I mean that with all due respect, by the way, because my lovely lady's here and I got a long ride home. I don't want to get shit. I don't want to get shit talking, but she knows how much I adore you. There are very few artists that I've experienced in my time on Earth where they still can reach, regardless of what demographic, whether it's the older demographic or the young demographic, and bring out that angst. Lost Johnny, you've witnessed this. I
have.
When you've seen me or when you've accompanied me to bitch shows. I'm headbanging right next to a little 13-year-old kid, and I feel like a fucking asshole after, but during your performance, I don't care.
My mom stands up there, my 86-year-old mother.
It's about having fun.
She's up there, headbanging and singing.
You have a great
singing
support
along
network.
to Skull Crusher, and so
you never.
Her mom managed her for a long time.
When you're singing Skull Crusher and your mom's like out there.
Oh, she's my biggest fan. She managed the band for a while. She booked our gigs back in the 80s, got us our PR. Well, she was in PR. She was a theatrical agent for a while, and then she was the retail sales manager for KABC for quite a few years. So she knew the business. She had a lot of contacts. And yeah, she used to, book our gigs and manage us and, go to all the shows. And, she's been with me.
What a great support network you have.
Every step of the way, yeah.
It must be nice to have a support network like that. That's not only loving, but supportive. And it really captures that positivity in a nice little circle where if there are hard times, you have that support network to get you through whatever.
Yeah, I've always had that support with my, my family and my friends. They've always encouraged me to keep going and, letting me know, always complimenting me, my performance and my vocals, much like you. But, it's nice.
I'm sure you get complimented all the time, but do you recognize the sincere compliments?
I do, yeah.
How many times do you get asked out on, oh, I love you, you're great, you want to go out? Do you get any of that?
Not at all, no.
Really?
No, nobody wants me.
Is your significant other standing there like, hey, fuck off, get away? Or
you mean my dog? Oh. He's my significant other. Yeah. No, I shouldn't really advertise this on the air, but
You just did.
I'm very single.
Well,
I don't know if it's that I'm single or I'm just over, trying to make a relationship work.
All you aspiring Betsy, these newfound Betsy Bitch fans that are not coming from the right place, remember, her fans are very protective.
Yes, they're
very protective.
They're part fans, part bodyguards.
May I ask you a personal question? It was rumored that back in the early 80s you dated Jim Ladd, who at the time was hosting Lucifer LaRock. Is that true?
What?
No.
Jim Ladd? You mean the DJ?
The DJ.
Dating
Lucifer LaRock.
What's that? Wait, what's
that?
That
was the show that aired bands of your era at that time. Armored Saint, Wasp, before they became global successes.
Was that on KMET?
KMET. Did you date Jim Ladd?
No. I can't believe it.
Okay, I was just trying to find out if you like DJs, that's all.
Oh, you got me. No, I did go out on a date with Robin Zander once, though.
Did you?
I did, and we made out in my Ford Maverick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It was like one of the best evenings of my entire life.
Have you ever dated fellow musicians of your caliber?
Yeah. I mean, I've gone out with guys in bands. I mostly only have exclusively dated musicians in my
And how has that worked out for you?
Well, did I just say I was single?
Yeah, right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, right. Are they staring in the mirror more than you are?
They've all gone south. No, I mean, I find that I have, a lot in common with other musicians, and that's probably
You
why.
don't have the narcissism addiction as they do. You don't have the self-absorbed egomaniac disease that attacks these musicians. As I mentioned again before, you're very humble, very sincere.
I can be, self-centered and
Please
selfish.
don't show me that side. I've had too many disappointments in my life.
Okay, I won't.
I hold you at a high caliber, please.
Not tonight, anyway. I won't.
Let me ask you this: 2016. We're living in a new era. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, I believe everyone here, regardless of political affiliation, we do not have a problem with gays or lesbians, correct?
We love the gays.
How do you feel, or are you even aware that there is a huge heavy metal, extreme underground female obsession with you, where they not only are obsessed and they love Betsy Bitch, but they also, like the male counterparts, they love you too as far as physical attraction.
Is there a question in there?
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
Oh, about younger fans?
Bunch of young chicks that are into you.
Oh, of course. I think it's great. I love, being a role model, for these girls, some of whom have become singers. As a matter of fact, I was doing a jam night not too long ago at the Lucky Strike Jam that happens in Hollywood every week.
You were at that?
I've sung a few times at that, yeah.
Oh, I need to frequent that.
And one of the times I was singing, Carla Coates from Butcher Babies came up to me and said that I was the reason that she's doing what she's doing. And I felt, I was very humbled by that. I was very flattered. And, that's an example. I'm glad to be, an influence and a role model. If I can, get women up there rocking, then more power to me.
Do you find it did you find it at that time very difficult due to the male-dominated field, and then also the political climate, and then also at that time, just society in general, their somewhat immature attitude towards sex. Did you find it difficult during that career, for your career at that time?
I didn't really, focus too much on that. I just focused on, just being Betsy Bitch and, having the best band and being the best I could. And, a bit of it was a little frustrating, when we had a little trouble, getting gigs, with the name Bitch. And
were you ever picketed?
No, but we did have to change our name for a couple of shows. I remember for one of the shows we played, because the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, I think we were playing the Troubadour, they didn't want the word bitch, up on the marquee, so we had to be Metal Mistress or something ridiculous like that. And then I think one time we just changed the B to a P, so we were pitch.
Wow.
So you played in Bitch, Pitch, and Witch?
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Betsy Pitch does not have the same ring.
No,
no,
it doesn't.
Doesn't have the ring.
And on that same note, just as a side story, my mother had to name me something that started with a B after an aunt of hers. So I almost was Bertha Bitch.
Ooh.
Really glad that didn't happen.
Dodge that bullet.
Yeah, I'm glad as well. Is there anything coming up for you in the next couple of years? Are you, in the next couple of months, are you going to be playing anytime soon? Are you going to be recording anytime soon? Are you going to be going on tour?
One can only hope.
I'll write a song tonight. I'll finish it. I will.
No, and if we don't do any of that within the next couple of years, I'm hanging it up. We're always working towards, getting a good show, or, and like I said, we're working on some material. We hope to have something out, even if it's just something mini, 4 or 5, 6 songs or whatever. That's all, that's all in the game plan. It just needs to, at this stage in the game, we kind of choose our battles. We're not out there playing every single night of the week at every crappy club, in the area.
You don't need to.
We want the good shows, and we'll, and they do come up, not as frequently as I would like. And I wish that I could say there was something coming up right now. We don't have anything booked at the moment, but
it's songwriting time anyways.
There will be. Yeah, we'll have some songs, we'll have some gigs, and we'll keep on keeping on.
God, I would love to see you play with Alice Cooper. That'd be great.
That'd be rad.
So would she.
Oh, God. Okay, let's book it.
Yeah, let's
Alice, are you listening? I'll even be his backup singer.
It's a small world, the young lady. It's a very small world. You'd be surprised who listens to this podcast. I would love to see you play with fucking Alice Cooper. That would be a great show.
A friend of mine attended a meet and greet recently and had him sign a bunch of stuff for me. And the guy said he believed him when Alice said that he had heard of the band. He knows of Bitch. And I think it's quite possible. I was good friends with his personal manager, and he knows Brian Slagle quite well. So, even if he was lying, it was just probably nice for him to say that anyway.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can try to light some fires and get that going here.
Alice, wouldn't you want a girl with Alice Cooper tattoo opening up for you on tour?
Seeing Only Women Bleed? That'd be fucking rad.
Right? Time is everyone's enemy on earth, with the exception of Betsy Bitch. Let me just say this, Betsy. You are very elegant, very beautiful, very eloquent, a beautiful person inside and out, a fantastic human being, and an amazing artist. The fact that time not only is very protective of you, but that it allows you to spread the beauty to multi-generations is a great gift, and I feel fortunate that I was at that first genre of that, and I love seeing the seedlings growing after me.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Really? Dude, you really do have to give props.
No, please don't cry.
No, I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can.
Please do.
I think I can still bring it.
You do bring it.
And I think I'll know when I can't. I still feel like, there's so much more to go, and I have a lot more to give and a lot more rocking to do.
Not only do I concur with that, I know that you have a lot more to display. There is a lot there. And these younger generation kids, and also, because, I'm a little older. Sometimes when I'm at these shows, I'm like, I got to get out of here. My back's killing me. I'm not as in shape as you are.
Right there with you sometimes.
But it is still a pleasure to be able to experience the Betsy Bitch experience. And it's wonderful to be able to exchange with you as Betsy Weiss. Thank you for being so much on the Very Manic Jimmy Caff Show. Also,
my pleasure.
You as well,
Thank
Randy.
you.
Randall West.
Well,
Randall West.
Hopefully I'll be back with you sometime doing something. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that the band was called Bitch before they met. No, I'm just kidding. Oh. Now she's going to chase me home.
What is that? Some sort of an insult or what?
How can people keep up to date with what's going on with you?
Well, there's www.betsybitch.com. There's my Facebook page under my real name, which is Betsy Weiss, Weiss. I think I am maxed out on friends, but you can follow me. Just don't stalk me.
Yeah.
And
some of us have guns.
we have a Bitch featuring Betsy Facebook page. If you go to my page, it's linked to that. Randall West has, all the band members have a page. Randall West, Angelo Valdispino, Chris Cardenas, we all have pages, and we all promote whatever's going on our pages. I think we had a Reverb Nation page, but I don't know how updated that is at this point.
It's not. We can't get into it.
But if you, I think we forgot the password.
Somebody forgot the password. Not me.
Don't go there. And if you Google Betsy Bitch, whatever's happening will come up, and whatever, in the past will come up. There's all kinds of YouTube stuff and, discographies and Wikipedia page and so on and so forth. Don't Google bitch because you'll just get all kinds of kinky
Fucking
S&M stuff.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Unless you want that. You can also get that by Googling Betsy.
Yeah, we can talk politics anytime you want to.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for wanting to talk to me.
Always.
And thank you, all my fans, for still supporting Bitch. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Let's end the show with, of course, some Bitch. Chester, take it away. Thank you for listening. See ya. And be good, people.